So we got the, I don't know what you call it. It's not the rear end, the tube that holds the axles out. And we got the axles out of it, sort of. I just kind of drove them out, and what came out came out. There's still some guts inside. So this is the driver's side. This is the good one. The hub was okay, but the whole thing wiggled a little bit. And I'm not 100% sure why. And this is also the one that the seal was pushed all the way out flush and rubbing a little bit. So, of course, everything's kind of shifted since being driven apart. But the bearing that's still in there feels good. Doesn't feel like there's a lot of slop. I kind of think the whole thing has just kind of worked its way this way out for some reason, and I don't know why. The bearing that's on it feels okay. The thing that's kind of weird, it's got this spacer between the bearings that should slide off, and it doesn't. So I don't know if the slop was, if it's worn here, inside where the other bearing goes. I mean, this is all pushed a little bit that way too, which probably happened when I drove it out, because I put a chunk of wood on the end and just beat it with a hammer. So things may have shifted a little bit, but the fact that this doesn't slide off is kind of weird. The U-joint is tight, so that's encouraging. The other end of the splines, well, I need to get the other half off to see how much slop is in there, really. They don't look terrible. It's rusty. Because the thing is, this goes in there, like way in there, like that far. So you get mud packed up all in there, and dirt gets into things and eats it. It shouldn't. Anyway, the other side, the bad side, came out a little different. And you can see, you probably can't see, but the splines are definitely worn down a little more over here. The U-joint is definitely bad. That's some of the slop and crunchiness over there. That doesn't explain why the hub was sitting wonky. The splines kind of do. So we know we need a U-joint and this shaft. The bearings stayed in. And this is the side. Remember that the seal is back where it should be. The bearings, the one that I can reach, really feels crusty. So probably going to replace that one for sure. The one inside feels okay. I don't know. I want to get it all apart and look for sure. And this is nice and rusty, yucky. I don't know. I guess I'll have to take the boot all the way off and assess what's in there. This, I'm sure, is going to be expensive enough. A set of bearings is not going to be cheap. And then that's still haven't started digging into what's left on the machine. This side, oh, that looks kind of yucky. But the main thing is the seal back in here. And I don't think I'm going to dig into that tonight. But we got it apart. We know that leaks, so that might as well be addressed too. So the saga continues. Pulled the seal out from the bad side, the wonky side. It's kind of rusty anyway. The bearing, the actual seal for the bearing came out with it, and it's all crunchy looking in there. That's why it feels crunchy and rusty. It's kind of weird that it's that rusty, but I don't know. The way this thing gets used amphibiously, yeah, the bearing's definitely shot, and it's coming apart too. So this is just penetrating oil to get it apart. It wasn't wet before, but so definitely that bearing. And honestly, if the bearings aren't too god-awful expensive, I might just do all four because we got it apart. I already started cleaning them up, but there was so much rust inside these boots. Ew. Ew.